this morning, and my husband was saying this, look at this. There's one church, there's one mosque, and there's one temple within walking distance. Because in my country, you will also see within 1 square kilometer, a church, a mosque, and a temple. Yes.
I found English newspaper telling that the women in Malabar are feminists. So feminism was used in a derogatory manner in 1921.
It adds to the uniqueness of Kerala because you have so many good indicators, and in a way it really closely resembles my own country.
Good morning, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, legislative members, book lovers. It's a privilege to be here in this space where democracy meets readers. And also here, the ideas are kept to be or known to be public. Especially this is a public space where legislators engage each other. As you know, the Kerala, it's known for its diversity, its coexistence and literacy. So we value, our people really engage and value deeply the dialogue. So it's a privilege for me, honor for all of us to welcome Professor Dr. Ameenah Gurib Fakim, former president of Mauritius, and she's a distinguished scientist. Let's give a big applause to her. Welcome to Kerala.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abbas. Good morning to everybody. And it's a pleasure for me to be here in Kerala, my very first time. And first of all, I'd like to thank the Legislative Assembly, the Speaker, the Chief Minister, the Governor, and of course to you, Abbas, as well, for facilitating my presence here. And so thank you again for your welcome. It's been a wonderful stay. And again, I thank the government here for the welcome, for all the support they have given myself and to my husband ever since we arrived. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's start from because these legislative places, you know. You were the president of the country and you were leading the legislature over there, you know. So I'm asking, you know, how do you feel the difference, you know, especially now the books are coming inside and people are walking in and we are engaging with the ideas inside the assembly, you know. How do you feel it?
I think it's a very unique enterprise to have people just walking and also to have a book fair within the assembly. And I think what Kerala government is sending to the world is that this place is much more than the political arena. It is a place for dialogue, it's a place for appreciating diversity, and I think it's also a place to promote knowledge and education and all that goes in terms of enhancing the image of the state. So I think it's a fantastic event. I think it's the 4th edition, and I hope there'll be many more to come. And I'm sure there will be, because I've seen the interest in the books just now, and so many publishers have come. So I'm sure this event will grow in the future.
Yeah, just for your information, this first time this place is open to the public. Every year this is celebrated as a public event and people are walking in, students are going and coming. Earlier, we need to get a permission from an assembly member to come in, you know. So
this is unique.
Unique, maybe, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it adds to the uniqueness of Kerala because you have so many good indicators. And in a way, it really closely resembles my own country. In terms of diversity, in terms of valuing education, in terms of promoting the welfare of the people. And I think this state is doing so much for the welfare of its people, just like my country has been as well. So both of us, I think we have the same vision, and we want to speak the same language, even though it's not malayalam.
Yeah, really, you know, because we always tell that we are UK, maybe United Kerala. Actually, we have indexes as same as of that Europe in many cases.
Yes.
Especially,
I think this state has declared the removal of absolute poverty. And I think it's the second state after China.
Yeah.
So that speaks volume in terms of addressing the removal of the absolute poverty. So again, congratulations to the to the government in the
thank you.
state.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Great achievement, because
Yes, it is
as
very big achievement.
as a government, because
Yes.
serving the people and declaring that, maybe I'm
Yes.
proud, I live here, maybe this place.
And I've been around. We've been to Kovalam Beach,
Yeah.
right? We saw the people there looking very relaxed. And what I noticed, of course, the kids are, they look well, they look good, they're very happy, very relaxed people. And when I look out of my window this morning, and my husband was saying this, look at this. There's one church, there's one mosque, and there's one temple within walking distance. And in my country, it's the same thing. And I think I'm also a product of that vision, of that diversity, because in my country, you will also see within 1 square kilometer, a church, a mosque, and a temple. And if you go further, you might even see a pagoda as well. So this reflects the diversity. And I think to me, in my humble opinion, this has been one of the issues which have been the bedrock of our development. We have learned to appreciate the diversity. We have worked through this diversity. And as I keep saying, diversity is our strength. And that has been my mantra during my presidency. It is my mantra now. And here I come and I precisely see it in action as well. And all this adds to the strength of the Kerala message to the world, that it can be done and there should not be exclusion, but it should be, really mainstreaming this diversity so that the population grows with it.
Yeah, maybe we go to Mauritius, especially you born during the time of colonial period, and I think you got independence when you were in primary schools.
That's right.
So how do you feel that the transition from colonial stage to the democracy?
At some point, I used to come home in the afternoon, and I would say to my father, "Who is this queen we sing to every day?" We had to go and sing "God Save the Queen." And then, of course, it was a very special moment because we had television at home and we could see the independence, 1968. When the British flag went down, of course, the Mauritian flag went up. It was a very special moment. And this has happened, of course, through a long struggle with the British government, but eventually we did manage to get our independence.
Because normally when we speak of Indian independence, those who have seen the transition, we think that it was something great or some sublime things, or because they were in the day or the night of that transition to the freedom.
Yes.
So the feeling would be amazing.
We also had our tryst with destiny, just like Pandit Nehru said. And no, it was a very, very special moment. And you know what happened with that immediately after independence? And I think this is what we have managed to do. We have given free health care. We provided a modicum of social safety net. And we did some effort to control the population at the time because there's a galloping growth in terms of family size. And then in 1976, the government came up with free education. And to me, this has been one of the engines of our growth. Because the same people who were cutting sugarcane in the field, because we mustn't forget that Mauritius was very agrarian, it was agriculture-based, 92% of the economy in 1968 was sugar. So these same people could get some training. And then when we started introducing light industries, we started textile, these same women who were cutting the sugarcane could now handle the machines. And every 10 years, successive governments have put in a new pillar to our economy. So we managed to diversify from 92% economy of sugar, and right now, as we speak, it's about 8%, 8 point to the economy. And we have added pillars like the textile, light industries. We've of course got the service sector, the tourism sector, and now we're moving into banking and the IT, the service sector, and of course verging onto the fintech space as well.
Yeah, when we talk about diaspora, because the people from Kerala, they migrated earlier to different part of the world. As we know, earlier they were taken, maybe they went themselves as part of the monsoon wind, and we call that mausim, that earlier mentioned that, or the Hippolytus, and they were Greek, they were coming over here. And we have famous port towns in the region, especially Musiris, Tindis, and all other Greek-mentioned port towns here in our Kerala, because it's all towns of Kerala. So then, when we talk about Kerala, the first mosque in South and Southeast Asia, it was built here.
Okay.
Then the first church in this South and Southeast Asia, it was built here. And the oldest synagogue here,
Okay.
in this region is in Kerala. All these in Musiris, in Kodungalur, you will see that.
Yes.
All in same place. You mentioned
That's right.
that one earlier.
Yes.
And maybe, this is the land of Hinduism and the traditions. And the oldest working Hindu temple, that also in the state. It's in Kodungalur.
Yeah.
And interestingly, I have to tell that this is the deity, is a lady.
But if there had been voluntary migration from Kerala, the migration into Mauritius was not voluntary. They came under what was known as the Girmitias. They had to sign a contract with, and in a way they were fooled because they were told that if you go to Mauritius, you lift the stones, you'll find gold. So they came on that premise. And some of them stayed, most of them stayed, some of them went back, but very few of them went. So I am the fourth generation of Indians, and my forebears left India in 1862 from Ghazipur, just outside Lucknow, but we all came through the port of Calcutta. And then, of course, all the people who came, they all we called Jahazi Bhai. So we all came down to Mauritius, and so we made a living, struggled quite a bit, but made it. So,
Yeah, I really resonate this with my study in South Pacific. When I was doing my postdoctoral studies in Griffith University, Australia, I got a chance to study on Malabar moorings. Malabar means all Kerala. Because in all documents, Ibn Battuta mentioned that Malabar starts from Goa till this region. And we found a lot of people from the region, they were taken from the same port you mentioned.
Yes.
Indians were taken from Calcutta or Coimbatore or Madras.
Yes. But interesting you should mention the Malabar coast.
Yeah.
The first wave of migrants who came to Mauritius, they came precisely from Pondicherry. Okay. And they came because they were the interface between the French, because they could speak French, and the Indians who were coming after. Unfortunately, in Mauritius, the term Malabar has a pejorative meaning to it because it goes back to the time of the Indian migration. So they were associated with some sort of form of slavery. So when you mention Malabar, it refers to essentially people of the Hindu faith. And the Muslims, because they were meant to, they follow Islam, they were called Laskars. And Laskars means sailors. And this refers maybe, because you're the historian, you would know this, it goes back maybe to the Muslim faith that came through, the ships coming from the Middle East, Oman, recent country Oman. So this is how these two groups are referred to. And then there's, of course, those who came from Africa. They are referred to as Creole, right? They will be called Creole. They are essentially of Christian faith. So this is what makes our melting pot in Mauritius.
Yeah, it would be interesting, those who work in history, maybe I think some of our listeners will be from the background of history, or even the background of Kerala, because we never thought of, because this may be a new knowledge for the people here, that Malabar used in a derogatory manner in the word. Because when we say the Malabar is a sometimes big brand,
But if you go to Dubai, you'll see Malabar gold and diamonds.
So you feel it a very derogatory, vulgar word.
No, I feel very proud because, they're adding value to that part of the world. Yeah, so it's great. It's great to see that, yes.
That could be seen because some of the French documents, we can see that Malabar slaves were taken from here.
Yes.
So that would be the synonym of Malabar, would have been the synonym of slave, who were taken from this
So there
part.
has been this connotation associated with the Malabar coast. And but I see in your writings, you speak a lot about this unity in the Malabar coast. And that comes through very, very nicely in your books, in your writings.
I was trying to decolonize the things, because some of the writings, when the British were writing about the people here, they mentioned the language as vulgar. Even Malabar was mentioned as a vulgar. The vulgarity means that vernacular maybe, because not the vulgar we use, because those were the old English or usages they were
Yes.
finding it, and they found it, this a common person's language, the
Yes.
vulgar language, or the vernacular language. So there were two.
So this could be associated with precisely the way they use that word Malabar in the language, in the spoken vernacular there, associated with this. It's very unfortunate because it's a very beautiful place, and we have managed to discover this. It's, as you said, it needs to decolonize, and I think people should be happier, comfortable using that word without having this kind of negativity associated with it. Yeah.
Maybe for information, when I went for, I had a book, you went through that, the Musliar King. I was writing about the decolonial historiography of resistance in the region. And I checked the archival sources in British Library. I found English newspaper telling that the women in Malabar are feminists. So feminism was used in a derogatory manner in 1921. And what is the reason calling them feminists? That they are helping their husbands to fight against British, and they're preparing their children to fight in the field.
So that didn't sit well with the British.
So they are feminists. They are bad. So the connotation goes sometimes, now feminism is a fashionable word.
Well, if you go to Benin, they'll be called Amazons.
Yeah. The same, they call Malabar people, or the people of Kerala, Amazon people. They call Mopula Amazon.
Yes. Because that goes back to Benin, because they were the first fighter, the women fighters from Benin. They were referred to as Amazons. They're the queen. There were very strong women there in Benin. They are the leaders. They're the queens who actually run the country for a long, long time. Yeah,
I checked, what the status of women at that time in British, because in 1921, women don't have full status for voting in the country.
Yes. Well, we got voting, for everybody in 1956. So this was universal at the time. But it came also after a long struggle, because at that time, when the movement, the Indians who were there in Mauritius, they were looking to get access to the vote. They were given to those who could only speak, who could only read. And it wasn't given generally. So after a long fight, they managed to get a universal vote.
Maybe we'll shift something to the science a little
bit. Yes, of course.
Because that's your area. So I'm wondering, because now AI has come and science has got a new parameters and maybe new height in its studies. I'd like to know from you, maybe there will be science aspirants here as a scientist, how you were as a woman and scientist, and then statehood, how you were looking the scientific parameters.
I was quite privileged, but I went to common school, and I went to a common school that was very new. I was the second batch. And the teachers there, they were trying to teach us science, but of course science you can't teach in a classroom, especially when there was no equipment. So they took us to the field, took us to the environment, explained to us. For example, you go to a pond, you see all the insects and all the tadpoles and growing. So you're taught the web of life through this. So the way they were introducing science was very practical, very pragmatic. And I can safely say that they have introduced into me the virus for science, for learning of science. And also the teachers, they were very good at explaining and demystifying all the concepts, the complicated concepts of science. They will explain to you why the sky is blue in a very, very common language. They will tell you, for example, that when you wash your dishes, doing science, right? So this is the way that, and of course, once you start really appreciating science for what it is, and then when you see the impact it does, for example, with the test tube baby, I remember that, and I was saying to myself, wow, this is how transformational science can be. It improved lives. So this is when I chose to do chemistry, because chemistry to me is the queen of sciences. It's right in there at the intersection of all the sciences. And then I went on to do a BSc in Surrey. I think you're familiar with Surrey University.
So privileged, to be there again.
That's right. And we chose Surrey, my father and myself, because it provided industrial training. And when you have industrial training, you really get exposed to research as it is, and that prompted me eventually to do a PhD. And so I can safely say as well, and I think it's very important for girls sitting today, that your cheerleader must be your father initially, but then further, as you're a woman, you get married, then the next cheerleader becomes your husband. He helps you by not interfering. So if there is an advice to give to ladies, when you are married, marry well. Marry somebody who will not interfere in your career. So I say to you, thank you.
Yeah, that's important,
Yes,
because
yes,
we always
yes.
tell that there will be a woman behind the success of men, because this is a
For,
man.
for a woman, it has to be a family. It
Yeah.
cannot be just
No,
the, it cannot just be the husband.
this is the other way, There
That's
should be a
right.
man behind all the
Yes.
women. Yeah, that's great.
And then when I came back I was all set to do a postdoc in the United States. I came back to Mauritius. I started working on plants. And this resonates especially in India because your government has documented and has coded Ayurveda. And in my part of the world, in Africa, we don't really have documented knowledge. So I started documenting, and then based on this, I started my research work, validating traditional knowledge, writing books on this. But I think eventually what happened is that once I had documented, and at the same time I was climbing the ladder administratively in the university. And once I reached the deputy vice chancellor position, then I didn't get the post of vice chancellor, I left, and I set up my own enterprise. This enterprise was based on this herbal knowledge, this database I developed in order to provide innovative molecules and extracts for industry. So this is something that I encourage increasing Africans to do, is to translate this into an enterprise. But having said this, we also need to provide a legal framework around this so this data can be protected. But once you codify it, just like India has done, India has broken several patents around curcuma, around neem, around all these to show that the traditional knowledge belongs to India. And as such, you need to deal with it appropriately to be able to use this knowledge.
Yeah, in this dialogue, we talk of diaspora more,
Yes.
because you are part of diaspora,
Yes.
you are always part of being a generation of all Indian.
Yes.
So how do you see that, because we have a diaspora all over the world. As I mentioned, the people migrated and then remigrated,
Yes.
and there are people, diasporas, those got never a chance to visit back their forefathers' homeland. And I found that they also keep, this community, they keep their history, they keep some language that...
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, if you go to Mauritius, you probably see practices which you may have given up by the way society evolves. But when you are an immigrant, when you are from the diaspora, as I say, you tend to stick to the traditions as our grandparents knew it. So maybe for you, it would be a good way to come and explore and see. And I think there is one author who has more or less done justice to this, is Ameenah Gurib, another diaspora, who has written, in fact, the book he's written about these Girmitias, and the diaspora in Mauritius is the Sea of Poppies.
So you also call Girmitians, or?
Girmitias, yes.
You use the same word?
We use the same word,
Oh,
Girmitias, yes, yes. Those who came in with the agreement.
Yeah, because it's maybe a word from agreement, that's...
exactly, it's agreement. So they are referred to as Girmitias. Yes. But our people, well, most of the people, as I say, they speak Bhojpuri. They are from Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, and most of them came, but they all speak Bhojpuri, which is very commonly. And of course, now by the sheer soft power that India has through Bollywood, everybody speaks Hindustani as well. So
yeah.
Yes.
When we speak about the language, because I have done some research on the language of the place,
Yes.
I got some kind of notion and also maybe spark from the diaspora. When I went to Fiji Island, I saw somebody speaking different language that is not used to be here.
Yes.
And it's very hard for me, maybe I have to take a special attention to grasp it.
Yes, yes.
Then I found...
It happens not just for India. If you go to a place like Quebec, Canada, you go to Quebec, the French they speak there is Old French from the Auvergne region in France. As the same thing probably for Mauritius as well. So maybe the Bhojpuri word you'll be hearing in Mauritius, you may not recognize it in Bihar.
Yeah.
Because things have moved on. But there, it becomes a very good laboratory to understand how immigrants, when they move, how they stick very, very closely to their culture, to their traditions.
Yeah, I found it's a good repository, because
Yes.
nowadays we go to the repositories, especially for the archival sources,
Yes.
written archival sources.
Yes.
I found this also can be considered another type of archival sources.
For us it's well documented. In fact, I know exactly the number of the ship number that brought my forebears to Mauritius. And it's because through this that I managed to get the OCI card.
Yeah, okay.
as
great.
well. So I was the first one to be granted the OCI card when he moved from PIU to OCI.
Yeah.
And so that helps a great deal for the movement to India. And so again, this can be traced back and it's very well documented in Mauritius.
Yeah, when I learned about the name of the place, because Kerala is
Yes.
using the name of the place.
Yes.
From the diaspora, I learned that they are unknown about this name of the place, and they use in their own communication some other name. And then I went to the archival sources. I found Malayalam was the name of the place earlier.
Yes.
Then it became misnomer from the British side. They use for the language those kind of things. So in this maybe scenario, there should be more studies on diaspora, especially the repositories in their mind. It was taken from the forefathers, the language, the tradition, and
but interesting, Abbas, we have one center in Mauritius which is funded by the Indian government. It's called the Mahatma Gandhi Institute in Mauritius. And it focuses on the teaching of Indian literature and, of course, Indian study and language as well. And it's focused mostly on the main group of people who came. So the kids get taught Marathi, they'll get taught Gujarati, they get taught Hindi, they get taught Telugu, Tamil. Maybe one day you can introduce Malayalam as well.
Maybe we have to tell the Kerala
it is still 33 million speaking.
No, we will pass this
Yes.
message, because this is going to Sabha TV. We have to tell the Kerala
Exactly.
government to introduce Malayalam there.
That's right.
Okay.
So you can make the case to have Malayalam taught
we
as
will
well.
know this. Maybe the minister will be listening from us,
That's
so we will
right.
tell them to start. You can take initiative to start Malayalam over there.
Yes.
There will be people to learn it.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe we'll sum up a little bit of
Sure.
our discussion.
Yes,
And when we go to these kind of things, especially that I found very interesting, especially I mentioned you, I
Yes.
found the diaspora, the people who went from here, or there were different kind of people who travel, those who were taken as indentures, slaves, half slaves.
That's right.
Then the traders, they travel themselves. But the next generation, they are the ministers, they are deputy prime ministers, and we have here the witness, the former president, as the diaspora community. So
No,
this
I think, again, this goes back to the transformational power of the social enabler, which remains education. And
Yeah.
I'm very happy that the government here has also put a lot of emphasis and a lot of funding as well to educating the people. I think you are among some of I think you have the best indicators in India as far as
Sure,
education literacy is concerned.
No, we
So-
have got 100% literacy decades
100%,
before.
yes,
Decades
yes,
before we
yes.
achieved it.
And we get to benefit from this because we have been many nurses coming to Mauritius, train here, and who offers the service in Mauritius. So again, we have to thank the Kerala government for this. And so they give us good service, and they're, of course, highly educated people as well.
So that's another reason maybe to start Malayalam over there. There is a big
Yes,
community.
True, we can communicate
Yeah.
better. Thank you.
So we will come to the confluence and coexistence.
Yes,
we'll
right.
we'll sum up with that. That's maybe the strength of Kerala.
Yes,
When
yes.
you go the other part of the country or the world, you will see the confluence here that I
Yes.
mentioned. We accepted all the religion here.
Yes.
Now different cultures, and this was integrated and indigenized. Many kind of things, even the religion
that
sectors.
is very, very powerful. That is very, very powerful. And I think I think Kerala can send this message out to the wider world. And that diversity has to be valued. Diversity is a strength. And through this, we can build better cultures, better societies where people will live in peace. And I think it should be that this diversity should be the bridge towards more peace and more prosperity for the world.
I want to extend, maybe, we will close in 5 minutes, and I want to extend, because the dialogue, I want to make a multi-log, because maybe, as we mentioned about the colonial things, they always make dialogue,
Yes.
only me and other, but we want to make it multi-log. Somebody, maybe one or two, can ask your questions, or if you have anything you can come up with, maybe one or two, if you are interested. Some of you can ask anything to the president, former president. If any take from your side, we will take it. Because the participation of others is important.
Yes, sure.
Just the dialogue, let us make
course,
it
it's very important.
discourse with them.
Yes.
Can you tell us something about the contribution of Indian diaspora in Mauritius, especially people from Kerala, from the olden days to the current time?
Almost 70% of our population are from the Indian subcontinent. I don't know whether there are many Keralite at the time when people migrated, but now there is a small community by virtue of those who come to work. And this 70% at the time, they will be coming essentially from these regions. They will be coming from UP, from Bihar, Maharashtra. They are coming from Telangana and, of course, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu as well, and also to some extent Gujarati and Maharashtra. So this will be the distribution of Indians coming to Mauritius. And this is also reflective on the languages which is taught. That's why I said, now that we have a community of Keralite working in Mauritius, maybe then it's time to actually bring in Malayalam as a language, because at the end of the day, we still have 33 million people speaking it here. And this represents what? Population of Australia?
30,
right.
yeah.
So this will be a good initiative to actually bring in these new languages. And this can be done because India already funds what I said, the Mahatma Gandhi Institute, which is there to promote Indian languages, Indian culture, and Indian tradition. So there is a vehicle there, and I think maybe it's time to use it to expand the language diversity we have in Mauritius.
Maybe interesting for him, because she mentioned that the Hindu communities in Mauritius are called Malabaris.
They're called Malabaris, yes, that's right.
So it has to be studied further, because all the Hindus, especially those who came from other parts, it's a big number of people, they are called Malabaris in Mauritius.
So we need to decolonize that mind, to say that it's a beautiful coast and it is reflective of a fantastic, diverse and dynamic community here. So we need to use this word proudly.
And will there be better cooperation, attempts to create better cooperation with Kerala government, with Mauritius?
Well, generally we have very good cooperation with India. Our bilateral trade and relationship, economic, and I think, I always say that the economy of Mauritius has emerged on two main pillars. The first pillar was we had a protected sugar protocol, which helped us get special price for our sugar going to Europe. The second one was the double taxation agreement treaty with India. It helped us really build our financial sector. It has changed a little bit, but nonetheless the essence is there. And I say that India remains, of course, a very, very strong partner in our development strategy. And of course, who says India, of course, means Kerala. But we need to actually tease out and bring out all the good things that Kerala shows to the world. And to begin with, you have a fantastic model of coexistence among all the various groups. And as I said, I woke up this morning, I opened my window, and I see 3 places of worship, 3 different groups. We have Christians, you have Hindus, you have Muslims, all living happily together. So that's a very strong message which we can send out to the world.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so
you
much.
do that so well.
We are taking the last question. She will be asking.
Ma'am, I am Dr. Fatima Varda. I am from Malabar, from Talasheri. Our honorable speakers on place. And I am actually MBBS MD. Actually, you are truly inspiration to us, inspiration to all of the ladies, because we want to study more. There is no limit to our dreams, and you are truly showing, and this is a truly motivation and inspiration to all the women, especially from the Muslim ladies. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. You know what? As I said earlier on, to a woman, successful woman, you have to marry well.
It's my man. He is my man, and he is behind my success.
And the other thing is that never give up.
Yes.
Because the journey will not be easy.
Yes.
There'll be many ups and downs.
Yes.
But if you stoop when you're down and you don't rise, you play in the hand of the oppressor.
Yes.
So make sure your recovery is always V-shaped.
Yeah. I want to take super specialty, but when I'm telling, everybody is telling you're studying too long, just stop it. But I'm truly inspiration from you that there is no limit to our dreams, and we can anymore go ahead.
And one lady said to me from Africa, make sure your dreams are very big and make sure your dreams scare you. Yes. The size of your dream must scare you. Yes. Then you, of course, aspire higher.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really thank former President of Mauritius for joining us. And she will be giving the keynote address in our closing ceremony. And I like to pass you my new book, especially I have a book on this Muslim king, because after that I wrote this Hindu Amir of Muslims.
Yes.
I'll pass to you as a... Thank you for joining us. Okay, it's a pleasure. Hopefully we will listen her keynote address in the evening. Thank you.